What's up everybody, how you doing today, and welcome to a brand new video. This is gonna be the second part of my top 100 NBA players list, and we'll have the 80th player until the 61st. Once again, I'm gonna highlight that this is a very personal topic, and if you disagree about something, feel free to make your point respectfully on the comment section, but I'm always gonna explain my choices for all players that made the list. This is also not related to only the 2019 to 2020 season, so we're gonna have some players that didn't play the season at all, but their performance this year also counts a lot. It is good to mention as well that this list was concluded before the NBA's restart at the Orlando bubble, so their play out there wasn't taken into consideration. If you liked the video, be sure to leave a like, and if you want to fully support this idea, subscribing is a great idea. So now, let's hop into it. Coming in at number 80, we have Miles Turner, the center from the Indiana Pacers. Turner, who was a lottery pick back in 2015, is a capable three-point shooter for a big man and a very good rim protector, having led the league in blocks per game last season with 2.7. This season, he's averaging almost 12 points per game, but he still has some flaws that keep him from having that breakout season most of us NBA fans expect, but he's still at a young age of 24 and has some room for improvement. At number 79, we have Kelly Oubre Jr. from the Phoenix Suns. As a Wizards fan, I got really pissed when we traded him alongside Austin Rivers for the expiring contract of a declining Trevor Ariza, as I could envision great things for his future as a reliable wing scorer. Oubre has shown his value this season with Phoenix, averaging 18.7 points per game, and he fits perfectly the timeline of a young Sun scorer. At the 78th spot, we have Andre Drummond, the center from the Cleveland Cavaliers. Drummond was, for the last few years, seen as one of the most overrated players in the league, but it seems like people finally realized that he doesn't fit the current NBA game at all. He spent almost 8 full years with Detroit since being drafted 9th overall by them in 2012, but he was traded at this year's deadline for a package that included Brandon Knight and John Henson, which was a clear sign that the Pistons just wanted to get out of his contract. With averages of 17.7 points per game this season, Drummond gets a place on the list as being arguably the best rebounder in the game. Coming in at number 77, we have Will Barton from the Denver Nuggets. Barton showed this season that he's capable of helping a borderline contender with averages of basically 15 points per game, starting the majority of the games as Denver's small forward. He's one of the guys I personally enjoy watching, as he's explosive at the offensive end of the floor with much athleticism and an average wing defender, which guarantees him a spot on the list. At the 76th spot, we have Al Horford from the Philadelphia 76ers. Horford's 2020 campaign has been arguably the worst of his renowned career, as his fit alongside Joel Embiid spacing-wise is anything but questionable, with his best minutes being mostly with the second unit. Anyways, Al Horford's career so far has been brilliant, having accumulated great moments with both the Atlanta Hawks and the Boston Celtics, as well as being a 5-time All-Star and a 1-time All-NBA and no-defensive team member. Neither his ridiculous contract nor his late career struggles will keep Horford from entering Hall of Fame discussions when his playing days come to an end. At number 75 is TJ Warren, the small forward from the Indiana Pacers. I still can't understand why the Suns traded him on the day of the 2019 draft for cash considerations, which ended up being a terrible decision by Phoenix, especially with the fact that he's leading the 5th-seeded Pacers in scoring with 18.7 points per game. Warren's progression was huge the last few seasons, becoming an above-average three-point shooter and a reliable perimeter defender, things that were the biggest complaints about his game in the past. And I don't even need to mention his huge play at the bubble, with an astonishing 53-point performance. Coming in at number 74, we have JONAS Valanciunas, the center from the Memphis Grizzlies. Despite missing on an NBA ring last season, having been traded at the deadline from the Raptors for Marc Gasol, Valanciunas is one of the most reliable and under-the-radar players in the league with averages of 15 points and 11 rebounds per game. He's also one of the most experienced guys on the youngest team in the league, but the fact that the Lithuanian big man doesn't fit Memphis' timeline makes his long-term future with the team uncertain. At the 73rd spot on the list, we have DeAndre Ayton, the center from the Phoenix Suns. It ain't his fault that he was selected first overall in the 2019 draft over Luka Doncic, and this matter sometimes leads to some unnecessary criticism surrounding Ayton's play. the Arizona product, still didn't show why Phoenix chose him over a generational talent, but the start of his career has been promising so far, with hopes of being a future All-Star and a great compliment for Devin Booker down the line. This season, he's averaging 19 points and 12 rebounds per game, and if this current pace is kept, AYTON's gonna be an influential big man for years to come. Coming in at number 72, we have Jonathan Isaac from the Orlando Magic. I simply cannot understand how so many people keep sleeping on Isaac, as he has a whopping potential. He's already one of the best defenders in the league in general, with great athleticism and a huge wingspan while standing at 6'11". His outstanding blocks per game numbers, the season being at 2.4, is just one of the measurements that simplified his status as a defensive stud, and his offensive potential makes him one of the most intriguing prospects in the league. In the 2019 to 2020 season, he averaged slightly more than 12 points per game, but he unfortunately missed a big part of the Magic campaign and will miss the remainder of the season due to knee injuries. Occupying the 71st spot on this list is Buddy Hield, the shooting guard from the Sacramento Kings. Despite being unsatisfied with his new role as a sixth man, this change has so far been good for both Hield and the Kings, once they guaranteed a 14-7 record over the stint when he was coming off the bench. With averages of 19.5 points per game, the Bahamas-born player is accumulating shooting percentages similar to his rookie season with the Pelicans when he was traded for DeMarcus Cousins, which is unexpected to a player that should be entering his prime, especially with all the mess surrounding his age. So don't be shocked if a trade involving Buddy's name happens this offseason. At number 70, we have Robert Covington, the power forward from the Houston Rockets. With averages of 12.8 points per game, Rocco is the definition of a 3-and-D player, one of the high commodities on current day's NBA. Covington was one of the faces of the 76ers process, and this season, he was traded from the Timberwolves to the Rockets and is one of the defensive anchors of their small ball lineup, having a big jump on his blocks per game numbers with 2.6 since getting traded. The 69th player on this list is Paul Millsap, the power forward from the Denver Nuggets. A 4-time All-Star with the Hawks, Millsap's career has been very consolidated so far, especially because of his 2015 campaign when he was the leading scorer on the 60-win Hawks team. Since joining the Nuggets, Millsap hasn't found the same success, but as a vet at age 35, he's having arguably his best season in Denver, with 12 points per game on good percentages from the field and with a surprising 44% from 3 on a considerable sample size. Coming in at number 68, we have Marcus Smart, the shooting guard from the Boston Celtics. Another underappreciated player on this list, Smart hopes to deservedly repeat as a first-team All-Defense member this season, where he's averaging 13.6 points per game, while being arguably the best non-star defensive guard in the league. He's one of the scrappiest players in the NBA, giving his all on every play, especially on the defensive end, with a lot of hustle and tenacity. At the 67th spot, we have Dennis Schroeder, point guard from the Oklahoma City Thunder. Schroeder is my pick for 6th man of the year, since he's averaging 19 points per game while coming off the bench for a surprising OKC team coached by Billy Donovan. The times when the German point guard shares the floor with, at the same time, both Chris Paul and SGA are so entertaining to watch, having a great offensive flow between the three guards. At number 66, we have Lou Williams from the Los Angeles Clippers. When you think about a sixth man, the first name that comes to mind is definitely Lou Williams, a guy that have always provided a great amount of scoring coming off the bench for lots of different NBA teams, and this season with the Clippers has been no exception to that, as he's averaging more than 18 points per game. Having won the 6th Man of the Year award 3 times already in his career, he has already mentioned that he will love to split this year's award with his teammate Montrezl Harrell, but once again, I would give a slight edge to Schroeder. Coming in at number 65, we have Malcolm Brogdon, the point guard from the Indiana Pacers. Despite his good NCAA playing days at Virginia, Brogdon fell to the second round of the 2017 draft, where he was selected by the Milwaukee Bucks, and ended up being nominated Rookie of the Year on a weak draft class with a mere 10 points per game. I didn't see the point when the Bucks opted to sign Bledsoe over him, especially considering that he was a member of the 50-40-90 club last season, but it wasn't the worst decision considering that Milwaukee still has the best record in the NBA. With Indiana, Brogdon provides help on both ends of the court, averaging 16.5 points and 7 assists per game. At the 64th spot, we have Bojan Bogdanovic, power forward from the Utah Jazz. His absence due to a season-ending surgery on his wrist will be felt by the Jazz at the bubble, as he's the only player on their roster averaging more than 20 points per game, not named Donovan Mitchell. The Croatian player has a career high in points this season, and over his playing time in the league, where he also played for the Pacers, Wizards, and Nets, he's shown his value not only as a scorer and a floor spacer, but as a reliable defender as well, especially on the first round of the 2018 playoffs against the Cavs when he guarded LeBron James magnificently. The 63rd player on this list is Spencer Dinwiddie, point guard from the Brooklyn Nets. Dinwiddie is another player that came under the radar to the NBA, having been a second-round pick back in 2014 to the Detroit Pistons. Averaging 20.6 points this season, he sometimes had to take the duties as the Nets' first scoring option due to the absences of KD and Kyrie, but what surprises me the most is his low three-point percentage, which is a below-average 31%. At number 62, we have Derrick Rose, the point guard from the Detroit Pistons. A fan favorite and a Chicago Bulls legend, D-Rose is the youngest MVP in NBA history, as he was given the award in 2011 as a 22-year-old. He enjoyed a comeback season last year with the Timberwolves, with a remarkable 50-point performance against the Jazz and the development of a reliable three-point shot, and he kept his high level of play this season with the Pistons, averaging 18 points per game. He's under a very team-friendly contract, and I would love to see him contribute to a contending team next season. But for now, his future is still with the struggling and rebuilding Detroit team. The last player on this video, coming in at number 61, is Jaren Jackson Jr., the power forward from the Memphis Grizzlies. Triple J is one of the most exciting young talents in the league and a crucial member of the Grizzlies' young core, and I see him as a future all-defensive player and a front-runner for next year's Most Improved Player award. This season, he's averaging 17.5 points per game, but only 4.5 rebounds a game, which leads to some unnecessary criticism surrounding his game, and his injury at the bubble will surely complicate Memphis' tough quest for the 8th seed in the West. But even if they end up missing the playoffs, the work done by Taylor Jenkins and his players should be praised regardless, as they clearly exceeded expectations. So that's it for today's video. Thank you very much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. Once again, if you liked the video, be sure to drop a thumbs up and, if possible, subscribe. That would make my day. Until next time, folks, peace.